Rugby World Rankings, folks. After 2 rounds of the Six Nations, England's loss has dented their world ranking. France are on the way up. What about the Scots, the Welsh, the Italians, the Irish? How are things looking? We'll go through the changes, plus the possible permutations for the upcoming round of fixtures and the other European matches which affected world rankings. You guys can let us know your thoughts on how accurate or not you reckon the world rankings are. We can get a little bit knee-jerky when we see losses, like the fact that England lost. They lost to the Scots. Suddenly they're not a good team anymore. A lot of people were talking them up as maybe the second best side in the world just a week ago. World rankings are relatively stable, but England have dropped. They've dropped from third to fourth. France have passed them, although France didn't actually gain anything from their win over the Welsh. They flogged the Welsh 54-12, but Wales are so far below France that even with the massive win, France didn't get anything. So this is more about England dropping below France than France actually passing England, if you follow my logic there, but the result is the same. France are in third, which right now feels right because they are the only unbeaten side in the Six Nations. But again, it wasn't that long ago that France lost to 14-man South Africa, and suddenly France were a terrible side. So that's what I mean about the rankings don't get quite as knee-jerk as we as fans sometimes tend to do. Top four sides, I think, are all still pretty good. All Blacks are without a coach there in second, and South Africa comfortably in number one. Ireland are still there in fifth. They didn't get anything from their win over the Italians. It was a 7-point game, so not a kind of huge margin. I think if Ireland had won by 16 or more, they might have taken very marginal pointage, but with the result being as close as it was, Ireland are kind of steady as she goes. Argentina's still there in sixth. The Scots, though, are the big winners of the round because they beat England and took, 1.7 points? They managed to retake the Italians, who had swapped places with them a week before. So the Scots are up one spot, the Italians are down. Again, the Italians didn't lose anything, but they have just been passed by the Scots. So sometimes that is the way it works. A little bit less pressure on Gregor after a famous win over England. And then Wales are still there in 11th. There is a fair gap between Wales and Italy, like 79, 74. That's relatively substantial. So Wales at the moment are still a yard or two off the pace from the other Six Nations sides. Other European action around the traps. Romania beat Belgium, so they've actually gone up into 21st. The Netherlands lost to Georgia. Georgia didn't gain anything from that because they are too far ahead of the Netherlands. Spain beat Switzerland, and Germany hosted Portugal after their famous win a week before, but Portugal beat them pretty handily. But again, Portugal didn't gain anything. Portugal aren't on my board. Portugal are in 19th, one position off my board. Portugal didn't take anything from that. They are just behind the Tongans. What can happen this week? France can't take nothing off the Italians. They are at home to the Italians, and the gap between the sides, with France's home advantage scoring them at +3, means the French won't do anything. No matter if they get a 100-point win, there's going to be no changes for them. The Italians, on the other hand, could go up to 7th if they were to get a famous away win over the French, and the French would drop at least 2 spots, probably depending on other results, but it would be a massive upset basically in world rankings terms for the Italians to upset the French. England would need a 16-point win because that is the cutoff between kind of big win, small win, and how many world rankings points you take to retake the French, because they've just dropped below them. So they would need to beat Ireland by 16 or more. If they beat Ireland by less, they will still gain some points, but not enough to catch the French. Whereas if Ireland win, it would be a direct swap because they would be able to pass England. So that match is suddenly looking a bit tastier with Ireland winning and England losing, because if England had won, I feel like Ireland kind of would have been written off, but it seems a little bit spicier now. The Scots, on the back of that win, they can actually pass Australia if they are to get a win over Wales. Remember, they're away from home. Despite the fact that Wales are relatively still quite far behind them, Wales will be scored at +3. So the gap is close enough for Scotland to take some points off the Welsh. So, Scotland could potentially be on the way up, and that might be bad news for Wales in terms of their world ranking. But Wales, I mean, they can take some massive points off the Scots if they get a win, but they're still too far behind the Italians to take another spot. But yeah, those are how the world rankings are standing after 2 rounds of the Six Nations. As I said, kind of right now it feels not too bad because France are the top side in the Six Nations after 2 rounds. They're the top side in the world rankings. England have dropped with their loss. Ireland are steady with a not that much to shout about kind of win, but the Italians are still looking decently strong even if they dropped, and the Scots, they are up. You guys let us know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We'll be doing more world rankings, teams of the week, stats, and all that kind of jazz. Take care, folks, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.